Hi, I'm Reed Pierce. Welcome to Straight Pool, the podcast, brought to you by the Professional Billiards Tour. We're here in Norfolk, Virginia at the International 9-Ball Championship. I'm here with Kim Davenport. We also have Ra Hanna, which is putting on the Junior National Championship, Don Mackey, and myself. Kim, what do you got to say to Ra? We got juniors coming up.
Well, what I'd like to say is I sure wish you were around when I was a kid.
I heard that before.
But when I was a kid, you were probably just a little kid. But anyway, I think it's a great thing. I mean, if I would have had this when I was a kid growing up, when I first started playing when I was 10 years old, I really believe that I would have gotten better. I think my fundamentals and everything would have been better just because I was learning from somebody that knew how to do the right thing. Because when you start young and you're on the wrong track and you get bad habits, well, sometimes they never go away. But you start and you're on the right track and you have somebody to teach you the right way to play. When you're young, it'll stick with you for life. And I thank you for that very much.
Oh, I thank you. I'm sitting next to Reed Pierce, Don Mackey, and the Kim Davenport. You crazy. I'm a throwback to the old school. I grew up in Passaic, New Jersey, and I grew up in Fleming's Pool Hall, sneaking there with my dad, and Clifton Billiards at Ray Martin's Pool Hall. So, I'm a little bit older than I look, but you guys led the way, and I think the way we get back to pool is to go back to what you guys said, the foundation that you guys said. Because when they say America, USA, they used to get scared. Now they think it's a buy. We're not having that. We're going back to the times where you're going to hear these names of these Americans and you're going to be afraid to get up on that table. And they're going to be classy and they're going to have sportsmanship and morale. But most of all, we're going to win.
Beautiful. And I've seen a lot of champion young kids in there too. Been watching a little bit of it. It's phenomenal how good they play at such a young age.
Yeah.
If I may, Ra, let me ask you a question. How did you get involved in this?
So my dad was a policeman in Jersey. My dad was a policeman that everybody knew. And he used to play pool. I used to watch him. He had one of those slick little 5-piece cues from the little case, so you know how he played, right? But so he rode a motorcycle. I used to be on the back with him. I came down. I went to Fleming's Pool Hall, and I was just lost and entranced. It was such a fantastic game. And I was a little kid. I was like 5'3". I couldn't reach the table, but I watched. I snuck there. I swept the floors. I did all kinds of things just to be in the environment to watch these guys. And I seen Mizrak, Alan Hopkins, Spanky, great straight pool players. We had this great guy named Jimmy Stoneface who didn't take no mess, but he taught you how to stroke the balls correctly.
Right, who was Spanky now?
Spanky is he's two-arm player, one pocket player from Jersey with Jersey Mel. Right there in New Jersey, if you guys were on a circuit, it was on Route 46, and that's where they played the one hole at. And he used to play Miami with another famous one-hand player from Pasadena. Oh, you know Miami?
I know Miami.
Let's
Well,
go.
let me tell
Let's
this story
go.
about Miami. I played Miami and New Orleans in the early 80s. It was probably around 81 or 1982. I gave Miami the 6-ball and beat him. He was so mad when I got through. We were playing for pretty good money. I ended up probably winning about 8,000 or 9,000, maybe 10 off of him. He was so mad. He told me, you know what he told me? He said, I've played all these guys on the bar table. He said, nobody's ever been able to give me the 6. He said, I've played Earl. He said, I don't even remember. He was naming all the great players. And he said, but I'll tell you what. He said, I got one thing I want you to do. He said, I want you to play me some one-handed. So I didn't know who he was. I didn't know who he was.
He found out
I did
quick.
not know who he was. He took me over to the Sports Palace in New Orleans. We were playing at Kenny Vince's South Side on the bar rack. We went over to the Sports Palace, and I got on that big table trying to play him one-handed. Yeah, I figured out real quick I was in a trap. I let him win a couple thousand back, but I said, look, if you want to go back and take the 6 and play some more on the bar table, I'd do it. But otherwise, I left that alone. That one, he was unbelievable one-handed.
So you mentioned another gentleman, that Stoneface?
Yeah.
Now, he sounds like he might have been part of the Gambino crowd.
Listen, I'm from New Jersey. I'm not going to say nothing, but they all might have been from the Gambino family. One Pocket Mel, lots of pop. These guys, your era was just so fantastic because, first of all, you guys dressed to the nines. And not only did you dress to the nines, you promoted the game in a way that it gave a future. While these people were thinking, Hustler, the greatest pool movie ever, The Hustler, right? But it did a detriment to our sport because they think that everybody is out to rob you and it's all smoky pool halls and there's no class, no circumstance. Get pretty Pretty Boy Mattia or somebody out there with some, that's the thing. I think right now these players, you guys could have still thrived in this era. But the thing that's missing is personality. Listen, they just click, 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 boom. You make a 3-rail inside English juice shot, come around and set up. There's nobody clapping because you guys make it look so easy. They don't know how hard it is. Right. That's what's missing. And you have to be able to give back something to the crowd. Like I knew who, Mr. Kim Davenport was walking down, and I told one of my juniors, I said, that's Kim Davenport, before he even came to me, and he came and said hello. I think that's what's missing. We got to disconnect from this generation of young kids to you guys, and I think we got to bridge that gap to go the way back.
And
That's why we came back.
I'm
That's
glad you
why the
came
tour
back.
is back.
Listen,
okay?
I'm sitting next to the greatest promoter of pool ever to live, and I'm coming. Listen, Mr. Mackey, I know who you are. I know who you are. I know what you did. I know what you did for pool. So it wouldn't have been no ESPN without you. So I thank you for that, because I'm a product of that. I sat home and I sweat. I have every AccuSat tape. I got every ESPN tape. I watch you guys. I know who Reed Pierce is. I know who Kim Davenport is. Man, I'm just happy to be here. And if you guys think that I'm doing the right thing, it just brings me, like, Kim came to talk to me. I was almost starstruck, and I don't get starstruck. He came to talk to me. I'm like, that's Kim Davenport. What did he want? Like, but.
Well, I just drove 10 hours from Atlanta to Norfolk with the Kimmer, okay? And he drove the whole way, okay?
Yeah.
I'm
Because
still tired.
He didn't want the commish to be tired when we got here, okay? Which I appreciate, okay?
So
but he ate every single one of my wife's homemade chocolate chips.
Oh, no, don't start that. So let's talk about a gentleman, Ray Martin.
Oh, man.
One of my friends, and he has passed away a little while ago, but he was a great straight pool player and Hall of Famer.
Part of Team America.
Him play.
He was on the original Team America.
America.
Got to see that guy in action. 99 critical shots in pool,
Yeah.
probably the Bible next
The
to
Bible
Robert
book,
Burns.
yes,
Next to Robert
yes.
Burns' book. That was the book that we sat there, page after page after page, and going through those shots. The 99 critical shots in pool.
Mm-hmm.
The foundation.
When we formed the original World Billiard Federation to create Team America, okay,
with the tuxedo,
with the shirts and the whole bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went to Willie. No, it wasn't a tuxedo vest. It was before that. This is in 91. when we put the first one
1991,
together,
early
right?
91.
So I went to Willie. I went to Willie Moscone, and I said, I want you to tell me. I got some young guys. I had Kim. I had Alan at the time. Okay, I said, I need somebody who you think can really understand and play the game.
Right.
He told me Ray Martin.
Yeah.
That's what he recommended.
Yeah.
He said, go see Ray and go get Lou Butera. You got two solid guys, right?
Yeah.
You got two solid guys
Machine Gun Lou.
mixed in with the younger guys. He goes, it's a perfect mix, and he was right. I mean, that was a great team at that time, you know? So anyway, we really support what you're doing, okay?
No doubt.
And we're going to promote you, okay? We're going to do everything that we can to help you, help the young guys, help the young girls, and move the game into a new era, okay?
Amen.
We love your understanding of the game, your vision of where it can come back to, and we have a vision of where it can be all new for people.
I think, what's old is new, right? You guys laid the foundation. I mean, you guys were the warriors. I'm not just saying it, like, I know who you guys are because I did my history. And it's just so amazing, the paths that you blazed and the trails that you did. Nobody did that in those times. Nobody would think, in 30 or 40 years, they're like, oh my God, look at ESPN, look at this, right? You put that on your back, on your shoulders. I just think that we got lost, the hustler, Color Money came out. Everybody wants to be Tom Cruise. Everybody wants to keep it with the ether. Everybody wants to be the man, right? But you have to lay the foundation to be the man. You have to go back to it. For you guys, back in those days, you guys, when those tournaments were up there, you guys could make a living. Even if it was hard. Just think of this. Sal Butera is a great friend of mine, my man Sal Butera, and he told me, he said, Ross, sweat this. I go to the U.S. Open. I got to play Kim, Efren, Varner, Hopkins,
Archer, Strickland,
all those guys.
Right.
So I draw one, I get waxed, I go one, I get back, I go home. What my dad tells me, go practice more. You know what these guys do? Like, inside English, right? Back in the day in the pool, we're like, oh my God. Now these guys go on YouTube. What do they need you guys for, right? They go on YouTube, they got all the information available. They have everything available so they can play good. They don't have the core. It's like you say, you can't teach heart. Right. And that's what we're trying to do. We're going to put them in the heat. We're going to have these kids be able to see their fallacies and be able to get better. And like I say all the time, and I'm not scared about it. I'm like, Europe, we're coming for you. So you better get ready. Everybody better buckle up and get ready because United States is coming. And even if we take L's, we're going to take those L's, we're going to stack them up, we can come back and we're going to smash it.
That's what I'm talking about.
All day.
Now, there's another thing. We just did a interview with Earl a while back on the podcast. And
Earl.
He brought up a great point about, he said the juniors of today, like we grew up, me, Reed, and Earl, and that, we grew up gambling. It was our schooling, like sort of. He says as soon as the gambling gets out with the juniors and they don't really gamble, he says that's when pool will maybe rise up to the level where it should be because it's so difficult to play. So I'm thinking, I know your juniors aren't out there gambling. I mean,
Right.
So
So here's the thing. We all live in the real world. This is the real world. People got bills to pay. People got things to eat. When they come to our tournament, we make sure they have two things: professionalism, and they are approachable, and they are professional. Now, here's the thing. Are we ever going to get rid of gambling in pool? I say we're not. There's no way, because if you're going to come to the tournament, I got to play all you killers to break even. I played 5,000 to go to Europe, and I break even. I don't even make enough to go home. So they're always going to have, in any sport, it's not just pool. In any sport, there's going to be gambling because they can make money on the side.
Exactly.
Now, my vision of what I'm trying to do is to make enough money and to raise enough capital so you don't have to go do that. So you can have a $50,000 or $60,000 a year job, which would be playing pool. And my thing is like, it's not just the pool halls. It's not just that. I'm looking at the schools, and I'm really looking at STEM programs, STEAM programs, different avenues for us, but we need the character. So when I bring my kids here, they're going to know we're not going to see no whiners. There's not going to be no hand flips. You're going to sit in an electric chair, take your beating like a man or woman, and come back better.
So you're teaching not only how to play pool, but you're teaching these young people for life, character.
Absolutely.
Things like that really mean something. That when I was growing up, it was like, it just wasn't there. I mean, if we just had a little
Well,
guidance.
I'm going to disagree with you. Hold on a second.
When I was a kid, I'm talking about.
Hold on a
Now,
second, okay? Let me point something
Yeah,
out.
all right, go right ahead.
You came out of nowhere. You were born in Oklahoma. Your family moved to California. You were in Modesto.
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't go to college.
No,
Okay. You were basically a street kid.
basically, yeah.
Okay.
I would say that.
You weren't an engineer. You weren't going to med school and all that stuff, right? Okay.
No.
You rose to become, okay, one of the most successful professional pool players on the planet, and you did it because you got in your car and you drove around the country and played guys like this, where you put your money, not a backer money, you put your money on the table, and you survived and you grew because you went through those moments that he's talking about of pressure, where you lose, you die, you're broke. You're not even staying at Motel 6, you're in the back of your car, right or wrong.
That's correct.
Well, that'll build character.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That'll
That will
build character,
I never
okay?
thought of it like that. You always explain things better than I do, Don.
Well,
But
I
what
don't
I'm
know. I
saying,
got a
if I
bigger
would,
mouth,
if I would have been 10 when that would have happened, I just think I
But
would
there
have been
was
a
no
better
avenue.
human.
There was no pathway. What he's talking
not.
about is a pathway.
There's a
An
pathway now.
alternative pathway to that,
Right.
where you don't have to get in your Chevy and drive around and put everything on the line every single night
I
to
didn't
feed
have a
yourself.
Chevy. I had a Lincoln.
All right, well, that's true. You had a
No
Lincoln. We
Chevys.
heard about
Driving a Volkswagen after you get through playing me.
Oh,
Yeah.
no walking.
Meanwhile, I went into Mississippi
Yeah.
and robbed him.
Yeah, I know you did.
Just
Yeah.
robbed
You
him. He
dreamed
still
it.
don't
He's getting
believe it.
old.
I
People
got a
believe me.
feeling-
Couldn't beat me in a million
Believe me.
years.
I just
If
wanna
you ever
tell-
woke
Yeah.
up one morning and dreamed that you beat me,
I
you
just
better
wanna-
call me the next day. and
Meanwhile, we played
apologize.
snooker, his
Everything.
best
Okay,
game, and he had no shot.
I just
I don't
want
want to
okay.
get into that.
Excuse
Yeah,
me
you
one
really
second.
don't want to.
Excuse me. See what happens here? This is what happened. Okay. I just want to point out to the audience, okay, that recently, okay, our dear friend Kim was sitting in his backyard and he had a Jack and Coke, okay, and he decided to talk to the world and he put out a challenge, as I recall.
I heard
okay?
that.
Did you hear about
Yes,
that
I
challenge?
did. He said
Okay.
anybody 60 and under, or there's
60.
Well,
66.
67 and older, okay, he went for the older, okay. And, sure enough, one guy showed up to pick up that challenge, and this guy's right here on my left.
Oh,
Okay?
boy, I
Now,
wanna see
there
that.
is a rumor, we can't confirm it, okay, that something is in the works, okay, to see really, how we might get that match put up and streamed, Okay.
I challenge anybody 59 and under. I'm 59 and under.
Well, you being here this week, you're starting to challenge
I'm
guys in
seeing
the
I
room.
might be in. I'm seeing I might be in trouble.
Anyway, the important point of what Ra is doing, in my humble opinion, is this: he recognizes the fact that the economic structure of the sport has to be revolutionized. Okay, here's the good news. Because the world has changed, okay, because you have the internet, because you have blockchain technologies, you have virtual gaming, you have sports betting, there's so many different avenues to sports market now, okay, that pool can become a very viable avenue, platform, whatever you want to call it, for major companies to push word out worldwide about their brand, okay? Because how many guys are in this thing? How many countries are represented here today?
34.
34.
34 countries have guys playing in one of the senior or top professional championships on the planet right now. Look at the audiences that are out there that these kids came from, that these guys come from. That is fertile ground for major sponsorships for this sport, okay? You begin to groom fine young men and women, okay, who can represent a company, represent the brand in the proper way, which is really what these guys did. One of the things that we did on the Pro Bleed store in the 90s, we did a really good job for our sponsors, in all honesty, okay? Because the way he dressed, this guy comes out of Miss Jackson, Mississippi. Everybody thinks he looked like Elvis Presley.
Wow.
Honest to God.
Please now.
Now you look like
I
Johnny
wish.
Cash, and he's dead. But anyway, but
Thank you,
what
Doc.
I mean is, by us joining with you, okay, and promoting this in every way that we can, and opening up avenues to finance and create financial revenue, as you said, so that these guys can make a good living. That's the key.
That's right.
Okay. I mean, there was a time in golf where golfers did the same thing that pool players did. They jumped in their car, they went from golf course to survive. Look where they are today.
Exactly.
Because they stuck with it and they created stars. Okay.
That's you.
We
said
need
it.
to create stars.
That's exactly
And
the
that's
point.
your job.
Listen. You ain't got. I'll tell you a little background. So, I used to model because I was short. I couldn't do runway, but I did television. So my first professional job I ever did, I was on Odds, the HBO series Odds.
Yeah.
So I did that for 5 years. And the same way I got nurtured in pool, I got nurtured in that way to see production. Because when they say pool, the production level is always it's always low because pool players, we're hungry. We want to see. We don't care if it's your cell phone. We don't care if it's your mom's old VHS. We want to see. But in order to serve a bigger community, we have to get better things. You need Canon C500s. You need Canon Cs. You need what everybody else needs because
State of the art.
you can't just write things anymore. The normal person's attention span, you don't show video, you're not in the game.
Right.
You're not in the game. And speaking of sponsors, sorry to cut you off, Mr. Reed.
Go ahead.
Speaking of sponsors, I approached everybody. I had one sponsor show up, which was Viking Q's. He gave us a budget, right? We said, how can we, as the JIC, impact these kids' lives? And we saw the biggest struggle was this. You make Team United States, Team USA to go play Europe or whatever, and you got to pay your own way.
Right.
Everything. Right. So if you got to go to China, you got these kids 13 and 14, you got $5,000 from mom and pops. So we thought about, we said, what's the best way we could have did added money to tournaments and everything? We said, no. So we did this. We said, any kid that makes it from the JIC, which is me, that played 4 times, will give you $1,000. We paid out $18,000 so far.
Beautiful.
Cash money.
Beautiful.
$18,000. And that was our budget. We said, we don't care because we want you guys to have a shot to go do it. Because if you win if you win, we win.
Let me ask you this, Rob.
Yeah.
How are the kids being trained? Does America actually have the actual guys that are qualified to be able to teach these kids about pool? Because you take a guy like Kim or you take a guy like me. I'll tell you the truth. I'm not a teacher. I mean, I'm not a teacher. I know all about pool. I think I was one of the better players in pool in America at one time.
Well, that's subject to debate.
It is. It's very subject to debate. But that being said, I don't think I would. I have taught pool, but I'm not what I call a great teacher. Now, Kim, he might be. who are the people that we have? Do we have the correct people that we're trying to get involved with these kids, or do we even have the correct people?
So we got lucky. We had D. Atkins, who was a
I
all-around
D.
champion.
I
I
know
think.
D well.
And D,
He's out of Ohio.
D. Atkins has a center at his house, and he ran all the JIC kids through there. If you go there, you stay at his house for free. He teaches you for free. He doesn't ask for anything.
D's
For
a great
free.
guy, man.
Yeah.
D. Atkins. When I met him, I said,
Beautiful.
I said, I'm embarrassed that I didn't know who you are, Mr. Atkins. I said, but that's going to change.
He's a good guy.
He's been a godsend. But in America, the top agency would have to be the PBIA, and they're out there trying. But here's the thing: pool players think they know everything. They don't care. The 1, 2, 3. Jerry Bryce is about to get in the Hall of Fame. They don't care about that. If it's the water pump stroke or it's the pendulum stroke, they don't care, because pool's one of those games. If you could draw your ball, you think you're Kim Davenport.
Yeah.
If you go 3 rails in time, you're effing, right? But the difference between our training and the other country's training is their training is formal.
Right.
Their training is formal and structured.
Right.
Ralph Eckerd, Ralph Souquet, all these guys, it's like a curriculum, which is where I'm trying to get at. If we can get, people have been trying to get pool in schools forever, right? I say it's a big tie-in, because whether you guys know it or not, you guys are all mathematicians. Geometry, tangent line, rolling tangent line, the V sign. The closest to it who knows what he's talking about is Dr. Dave. His instructions on TV, if you could get it past the nerd stuff, sorry, Dr. Dave, but if you can get past that, he has a wealth of information. But you have to be able to teach to the kids. Alan Hopkins might not be able to teach me. Maybe I'm technical. I need the Kimmer. Maybe I need some of that road flavor like you. Maybe I need to know how to produce some things. So I'll go to this guy. But everybody learns different. It's not just one way. So we have to be a smorgasbord. We have to have a menu. But in the basic is this: you can look at a player for 5 minutes, you know if he could play. If you watch a pool movie for 2 minutes, you know if that guy is a real pool player or if he's an actor, because you've seen it, you've been there. That's the thing about the United States, and we have to hold ourselves accountable and say, you know what? We failed these kids this way. So now we have an opportunity to fix it. And you guys, man, for you guys just to have me in the fold, I'm beyond.
We're stepping
Unbelievable
up. We're
what
stepping
you
up.
just
Let me
said.
ask you a
Beyond,
question.
beyond.
2 questions,
Yes,
if
sir.
I may. First of all, is it boys and girls?
Yes, it is. And they're separate.
How you doing with girls? Are you getting pre-interest?
Yes. So listen, one of our girls just came in 5th in the WPBA.
Who was that?
That was Savannah Easton, the road runner. Beep, beep.
Yeah, the road runner.
The road runner. But we have
She's
Sophia
12.
Shout out
Mass-
to you,
she's 12.
Savannah.
12 years old.
12 years old.
Yeah,
and
she can play.
Really?
She
12
can
years
play.
old?
Yeah,
Yeah, she can play.
Well, we need to get her on a show.
Listen,
okay?
we'll get Savannah will be here. Trust me. The only thing you got to do is knock on the
Okay.
door. But we have Sophia Mass, we have Skylar Hess, we have Bethany Tate, we have Priscilla Kinsley, we have Kennedy Mami, and these girls have won. They won the VNEAs. They win it. So now we're calling ourselves like the AAU, right? You go from the Joes to the pros. Where's the bridge? There's no bridge in the United States. I'm the bridge. I'm saying if you want to be a professional, this is how you have to. I don't care if you could draw your ball. I don't care if you fire balls on the hole. You have to hold yourself accountable. If somebody says, hey, that kid's from the JIC, Ra Hanna, that kid is going to talk to you. He's going to say, yes, sir. No, sir. He's going to be accountable. I think that's the difference in the United States. And a lot of people, they don't want to see that because they think their son Jimmy or Johnny, just because they pick up a stick, they can play. Your son can't play. Your son's going to get busted if he walks in a pool hall. He's not going to get a walking stick to go home. He's going to walk out with his pockets busted and his feelings hurt.
Well, let me tell you so. Hold on, one second. So Kim and I are both avid golfers. You play golf?
No,
Okay.
I watch it though.
If you watch what's going on with professional golf,
Absolutely.
okay, they've got programs, okay, in which, they've got, it's just like the NFL. They've got these programs to bring kids in at an early age with parent involvement, okay? They're taking them into the golf courses and they're teaching them the fundamentals of the game, including the ethic of golf, okay?
Yes.
And that's what we need as well. It's not just training, it's ethics,
I agree.
okay? The ethic of the game, because it's a beautiful game. The truth is, it's a beautiful game. Now, the thing I wanted to get into with you is, if you're a young kid today, okay, first of all, what ages are you looking to recruit and how do they get to you and get involved?
Okay, so it's very easy. We have 18U, which is 18 and up, 13U, which is 13 and up, and then 20 and up, which is the Pro-Am. So in the BF, the standard in the United States, once you turn 18, they kick you out of the junior pool. You have to go and play with the big boys. They're not ready. So our bridge was saying, okay, we're going to give you a pro-am, which means the good guys play over here. So we have 13U boys, 13U girls, 18U boys, 18U girls, right? And at first I had it separate. 13U plays in 13U, 18U plays in 18U and 20 up. The people in 13U, the kids there said, no, 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 no. I want to play the big boys. So this is what they did. They took their licks and they came to play. So our tournament, the way to get into it is easy. We have a Facebook page called Junior International Championships. They sign on there, they pay their money, they come and play. We take anybody.
Junior International
Junior National
Championship
Championships
on
on
Facebook.
Facebook. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Or
All
they
right.
hit Ra Hanna.
Well, you young
The Ra
players
Hanna.
out there, jot that down.
Yeah.
Get a hold of this guy.
Yeah, I'm here. So it's super easy. They pay their fees. They get signed in, and it's co-ed, but the women play separate.
Yeah.
And the reason we started getting more women because I told those girls that we put them on social media. I said, hey, listen, you got to talk to them girls and let them know that this is something that they can do, that they can aspire to. And I got Christina Tkach, I got some of the women pros to come talk to them. They say, hey, look, here's the pathway. You want to be like me? You want to be like Allison Fisher? Then come on and do this. But don't go the other
Which
way.
leads you to another question. Do you have anybody involved like Lori John and Ava and Allison and,
I know,
and Joanne Mason? Those.
Okay, so you talking about some big foundations. One of my staunch supporters was Jeanette Lee. Before she got sick, Jeanette Lee came and did the second internationally commentated with me. She helped me promote it. I'm real tight with Allison Fisher. So it's Allison Fisher, but my main man, the main supporter is Pat Fleming.
Yeah.
Pat has been, he opened up his door. We thought of this tour getting milkshakes in Vegas. I'm telling you the truth. And Pat said, bring them, Ra. And I brought him in the next year, it just blew up. And we were just so fortunate and so happy. But I think it's, a testament to me. I grew up old school. I love being around the wisdom. That's what I call it. I love being around the wisdom. And I pass it down. My dad was a police officer, so you could go two ways. There was no, I had to come correct in my house. I still did my little dirt, but, he showed me. And Alan Hopkins too. You guys were just, it was just a different era, and you're cut from a different cloth. So we're trying to make a suit from that cloth coming forward.
I know when I was growing up, like I said, I didn't have any kind of teaching. I basically learned from losing as a kid. I practiced every day. I put all my effort in. For the junior kids to get better, they're going to have to go up against these guys some kind of way because they're not going to, they would get better way faster if they could play against someone like me or Kim when we was playing. If a junior kid would have got to be able to play up against us, don't you agree, Kim? They would have been a lot better, a lot faster.
Or a lot broker.
Well, I'm not right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but I'm talking in tournaments. You know what I'm saying? You don't.
I was always.
Have
under
you ever thought about that though? I
the
mean,
fact- I was always under the impression, and I always did this, was I always tried to play better players.
that's what I was. That's the whole
to
point of
learn.
what I
So
was saying.
basically, that's what you're saying.
Yes. So
I think that's true in any sport.
I'm glad you said that because what we do, we have the pro-am and the 18U. So if you win the 18U, it's points based. We put you in the tournament. We have players playing in Turning Stone. We had 3 players playing last year. 2 of our junior players made it to the money rounds last year, and 2 of them just got out yesterday. So that was Nathan Childress and Landon Hollingsworth. He played Fortunsky. He beat Fortunsky, and the other guy beat Brandon Schuff. So we put him in the heat.
So explain that, if you
Yes.
will, to the audience.
So our kids who surpassed our level, who are top kids, top 1 and 2, we put them in any tournament that they want. So we put them into the international as juniors, but they had to play guys like this. So our juniors, they made it to the money rounds, which means that pool is pool if you keep it between the ears.
Wow.
And they overcame.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I was very happy.
Oh,
I was
you
super
should be.
proud.
Yeah. That's
because I
wonderful.
mean,
I get you.
If they're not going to be able to go up against that type competition, it's going to just take them that much.
You're gonna be
longer.
stagnant. Of
Right.
course. Listen.
They're never going to get there. Because it's very key to be able to go up and even I'll say this too. I think this would be very important. This is an opinion of mine. I think it'd be very important as many times as you could to be able to get these kids to be able to just go into here to show up
absolutely.
at a tournament and watch them
watch.
play.
Yeah, watch.
Because I can tell you this, I can remember back when I was at my best.
That's right.
I could lay off for a week. I show up at a pool tournament. all I had to do is go in there for an hour or two, or maybe a day, and my game would kind of
It gets you in stroke, right?
I'd get back up. I'd pick back
So
up.
I
pick
have a
back
better
up.
story. I'm sorry. So Joey Tate with Vic from the JIC. He just played Shane Van Boning at the World.
I saw that. Yeah.
You see him? You see him?
Well, I saw him
you
shot
see him
the wrong
have?
ball.
You see him put Shane? You see Shane shook in his chair?
Yeah.
Had him stuck like 7-1 and just didn't know how to control it. He didn't know. The heat got him. The heat got him. They fell apart. So he shot the wrong ball. But the point was that he got there at the U.S. Open.
Well, that's a bad thing, though. The wrong ball. I always go out and say, match room. You know what? I'm telling you,
right
that's a bad deal. We all grew up playing with the 4-ball being purple. I mean,
Exactly.
why would you try to change America's game? This is America's game, not y'all's game. It's America's game. And I'm telling you, get the balls the right color.
I'm gonna tell
That's the
Reed.
bottom line.
Hey Reed, big bank take little bank.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm just telling you, it's wrong.
Now, the opinions expressed by the players here today are not necessarily those of the Pro Billiard Store, okay? I just
Amen. That's
Well,
right.
right. But in my opinion, that's wrong. The kid shot the wrong ball. I was watching some of that, and I'm telling you, I had a hard time keeping up with myself. I was wanting to shoot the wrong ball myself, just watching him. I was thinking playing position from the 3 to the 5 every time.
Yeah.
You know, I can see how he did it.
Let me go somewhere that you guys got into. This is an interesting discussion. In the conversations that we had with Earl and Alex, we got into a discussion of like the 2 sets of 4, these different formats that they're playing today.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Do you want to go back and see the old formats like we had
Man,
during the
listen.
Pro Tour?
Put them up there, rack up.
Race to 11.
Race to 11.
No jump stick.
No jump cue. Listen,
Right.
I got something for you, Don. You might like it, might not. Okay, so in golf and baseball, basketball, things change. The equipment changes, right?
Right.
These guys have more things. How about this rule? Because I don't like the pogo stick. I'm
No.
a fan. I like
Well,
kick.
we banned it
Learn
back
to
in the
kick.
90s.
We
Learn
couldn't
to
play
kick.
with it.
Sammy Jones must have got mad at you. Learn to kick,
No,
right?
Petey Fusco got mad at me.
Pete Fusco, that's the man.
Imagine
Fusco brothers.
Imagine having to play.
Come on, man.
Imagine having to play Efren Reyes,
Yes.
Bustamante,
Yes.
Parika, and all those guys.
Yep.
Me and Kim had to do that all our life without a jump stick. If me and Kim had a jump stick in our hands,
You're
we
not
would have had
trapped.
an advantage on them.
How about
but
this?
I didn't want to play that. But I wanted to be able to beat the best and beat the best.
So how about this? How about if you hook yourself, no jump cue. If they hook you, you can use your jump cue.
That's better than what you got.
It's better than what you
It's
got.
better than what you got.
Because you do execute a nice 3-rail safety, put him behind the thing where he's in death row. He breaks out that jump kick. My name is Federer. I jump it, draw back, get position, and run out.
Look,
Let me ask you this.
hold on. My theory on the game goes like this,
Yeah.
okay? In golf, okay, you got to roll the ball in the hole.
Yeah.
I think pool's supposed to be the same thing. You're supposed to roll the ball in the hole,
Yeah.
but it starts with the cue ball. So you're supposed to roll the cue ball. Just my humble opinion
got
from
you.
the old days. It's the game I learned from guys like Willie. You roll the ball where you want it and try to make the ball in the pocket and then get that cue ball where it needs to go for the next shot.
Absolutely.
Okay. When you do a jump shot, can you really position where the cue ball's going next?
Some guys can, yes.
Some guy like who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Federer.
Well, it's Gordon Hyatt.
Give me a name.
No,
Fedor.
I
Johnny
can.
Archer do
I
it?
could, yes.
Really?
A jump shot and
Yeah.
position
Sean
cue ball
Putnam?
on some shots, yes.
Okay.
Not always, yeah.
Okay.
Sure, Don. Like
Listen,
we
listen.
knew kind of where it was fixing to go. Yeah, sure.
I think we're getting off. I think
All
we're
right.
getting off track a little bit. So listen,
I agree.
today's game and yesterday's game, I'm going to tell you a thing. It's still the same thing. I don't care if they're breaking from the box. I don't care if they're breaking from the rail. I don't care if you're breaking here, you're breaking there. I don't care if the 9 ball's on the spot. You break the balls and you run out.
Facts.
Nothing's changed. You break the balls and you run out. Period.
Facts.
All right. Well, we got a lot of different opinions on this, okay? And of course, I'm not the professional player, so don't listen to me. I want to tell you something, okay? The Pro Billiard Store wants to do everything it can to support you, okay, and these young people coming up, all right? And you have our commitment that you can call on us at any time. We're going to begin to promote you and your organization and do everything we can to grow this with you.
I'm with you. I'm with you. That's all I want to do is, all jokes aside, to grow pool in the United States is one of the best feelings ever. To see these kids get out there and compete and represent the USA, to have that on their back, that means everything to me. So, and if they could do it in the form of what you guys did, it don't matter. Everybody has their own style. Everybody's not going to wear a suit or a tie or whatever, but if you can get out there and you can represent, that's what's going to do it. We got to build stars,
I
and
agree.
it starts from here.
Well, we're in.
I'm going to tell you what, folks. We're going to end
We're
this
in,
right
man.
here.
Yeah.
And just remember, if you want to watch anything, ProBilliardsTour.com. Go to YouTube/ProBilliardsTour. Thank you very much, sir.
Absolutely.
Really
For
enjoy
Reed
it.
Pierce, Kim Davenport, Ra Hanna, Don Mackey, great show. ProBridgeTour.com. Great show, Ra. Glad to have you, brother.
Pierce, for sure.